The Sermon of John Wyclifs. Christ telleth his disciples of coming of the Comforter, the which is the Holy Ghost, and what life they shall after lead. And each man should con hear this lore, for then he may be soul's leech, and wit, by signs of his life, whether his soul be sick or whole. Lord, if a physician learneth diligently his signs in veins, in pulse, and other things, whether a man's body be whole, how much more should he know such signs that tell help of man's soul, and how he hath him to God? Although such things be privy and pass worldly wit of men, natheless the Holy Ghost telleth men some of such signs, and maketh them more certain that men can judge of bodily health. And, for we should kindly desire for to know the soul's state, therefore the Holy Ghost, that teacheth us to know these signs, is clept a comforter, passing other comforters. And as a man's soul is better than the body, and endless good passeth temporal good, so this knowing of the soul passeth other man's cunning. Christ saith thus to his disciples, When this Comforter shall come, that I shall send you of the Father, Ghost of truth that cometh forth of him, he shall also bear witness of me, and yet shall also bear witness, for ye be with me always from the beginning of my preaching. But here may Greeks be moved to trow that the Holy Ghost cometh not forth, but of the Father, and not of Christ, that is his Son. For the one saith Christ, and in this gospel leaveth the other. And it seemeth to some men, if this were truth that should be trowed, God would lightly tell this truth, as he telleth other that we trow. And else it were presumption to charge the church with this truth, since neither authority of God nor reason teacheth that this is so. And all belief needful to men is told them in the law of God. Here methinketh that Latin sinned somewhat in this point, for many other points are now more needful to the church, as it were more needful to wit whether all the church hang in the power of the Pope, as is said commonly, and whether men that shall be saved be needed here to shrive them to priests, and thus of many decrees that the Pope hath lightly ordained. But methinketh that it is so that this Ghost cometh both of the Father and of the Son, and these persons be one cause of him. And methinketh to no intent should Christ say he sendeth his Ghost, or that this Ghost is his, but if this Ghost come of him. And to this that Greeks say, that Christ leaveth this word, certainly so doth he many other for certain cause, and yet we trow them. As Christ saith, that his lore is not his, for it is principally of his Father, and yet we trow that it is his, but the will is in his Father. So we believe that the will by which the Father loveth the Son cometh of wit, that is in the Son, but principally of God's power. And in this word Christ teacheth us to do allegates worship to God. And thus these Greeks may not prove that we trow false in this belief, or that Christ left this truth, without cause to tell it thus. For by this that Christ saith, the Holy Ghost came of his Father, and leaveth us the coming of him, he stoppeth the pride of the church, and teacheth men to worship God. But when he saith that he sendeth the Holy Ghost to his disciples, and all that his Father hath is his, he teacheth clearly that this Ghost cometh of him, and otherwise should Christ not speak. And thus Latins are to blame, for they leave needful truth, and deepen them in other truth, that is now not so needful. And thus say some men, that the Bishop of Rome, that they clepe head of the church, and thereto Pope and Christ's vicar, doth more harm to the Church of Christ than doth vicar of Thomas in India, or vicar of Paul in Greece, or the Sultan of Babylon. For the root of which he came, that is doing of the church, and the haying of the emperor, is not full holy ground, but envenomed with sin. But this venom first was little, and hid by the caudiles of the fiend, but now is grown too much and too hard to amend. So it is that each apostle was obedient to each other, as Peter obeised unto Paul when he reproved him. And thus think some men that they should obeise to the Pope, but no more than Christ biddeth, no more than to other priests. But if he teach better Christ's will, and more profit to men, and so of all his ordinance, but if it be grounded in God's law, set no more price thereby than by law of the emperor. Men should say much in this matter, and other men should do indeed. But men would hold them heretics, as the fiend's limbs did Christ. And so thick are his members, that whoso holdeth with Christ's law, he shall be shent many ways, and algates with lies. And this telleth Christ before unto his apostles, to make them strong and arm them against such persecutions. These things, saith he, I spake to you, that ye be not slandered. He is slandered that is let by word or deed, so that his right will fall down from his wit. And so if a man be pursued and suffer it patiently, he is not slandered, although men sin against him. The first pursuit against Christ shall be of false priests, not alone letting the members of Christ to rule the people in churches, as curates should do, but putting them out of church as cursed men or heretics. And therefore saith Christ, that they shall make you without synagogues. But yet shall more witness come after this, for they procure the people, both more and less, to kill Christ's disciples for hope of great meed. And hereto Christ saith certainly of this matter, that hour is come, that each man that killeth thus good men shall judge him to do God needful obedience. And to this end procure friars Antichrist disciples, that well nigh it is thus now among Christian men. Some men are summoned to Rome, and there put in prison, and some are cried as heretics among the common people. And over this, as men say, friars kill their own brethren, and procure men of the world to kill men that say them truth. And one dread letteth them that they start not to more witness, for they defend that it is lawful and meetful priests for to fight in cause that they feign gods. And so if their party be stronger than seculars, they may move these priests to fight against these gentlemen. And as they have robbed them of temporal goods, so they will deprive them of the sword as unable, and say that such fighting should best fall to priests. Thus had priests this sword before Christ came, and they drowned so far out of religion of God that they had killed Christ, head of Holy Church. All men should beware of the cauteles to the fiend, for he sleepeth not, casting false wiles, and all these do the fiend's limbs, for they know not the Father and his Son, by properties of them. The fiend blindeth them so in worldly purpose, that they know not strength of God nor wisdom of his bidding. For faith faileth unto them that they look not afar, but thing that is nigh their eye, as beasts without reason. All this hath Christ spoke to his disciples, that when time cometh of them, they should have mind that he hath said them these perils to come. And the Holy Ghost moveth ever some men to study God's law, and have mind of this wit. And so love of God's law and sad savour therein is token to men that they are God's children, but yet of their end are uncertain.